How you doing, guys? Today I'm gonna be reviewing a very old whiskey, Daviess County, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 80 proof, distilled by the Fleischmann Distilling Corporation. This is what we call a duster or a dusty. What that means is they don't make this booze anymore. And here's how you can tell. I call them dusty because in the liquor store, in the back of the shelves, you'll see a bunch of like old ass liters and quarts and bottles and stuff that go for like around $15 or $20 or $30. They got dust all over them, and they're the bottles that look like the store owners are just about to just pour down the drain. There's a couple big things about the Dusties. Is number A, they're measured in imperial. See this? 1 quart. So this is before the metric system infested our drinking. Secondly, you will not find any big scary government warnings anywhere. So this must be before 1980 or whenever the fuck the government put in that stupid law that you have to have warnings on all alcohol. So look, see? No warning whatsoever. The biggest and most notable thing about a Dusty bottle is that you have this tape over it, this red tape. This is what's called a tax stamp. So back before 1980, 1990 or something, all liquor bottles would have this tape over it. It'd basically go like this. I opened it already. I took a drink from it. But basically, it looked like this. You had tape all over it. So it was completely tamper-proof. If the seal was broken, you'd know not to buy it. Because, like, if I was a shady, like, bar owner or, was selling bottles, I could just take the top off, pour some out, fill some with water and shit, and put the top back on and just, say, oh, yep, this is the legitimate bottle. Yep, this is completely brand new, has been fucked with. So the government would make them put this tape over the bottle so that you know that it's not tampered with. Now, because our technology is a little bit more modern, we have plastic seals just like our soda bottles. So, you go to a supermarket or something, you buy a bottle of Mountain Dew and you got this little plastic ring on there that's fixed. And when you crack it open, you'll hear a cracking sound. You break a bunch of pins that are holding it, and you'll hear a fizzle. So it has its own seal on it. But they didn't have that back 20, 30 years ago. All bottles everywhere has it. Plastic bottles, booze bottles got the same ring seal. Well, they didn't have that back in those days. They had so they used the tax stamp slashed red paper instead. Now, red means it's 80 proof or 40% alcohol by volume. Green tape means it's bottled in bond or 100 proof or 50% alcohol by volume. Now, this Daviess County, even though this is an old whiskey, it still would be considered a bottom shelf because it's only aged 4 years. The legal requirements has changed over the years. Nowadays, you only have to age your bourbon in oak barrels for 3 years or 36 months in order to be considered a bourbon. I assume back 20 years ago, the minimum was 4 years or 48 months. So this is owned by Fleischmann. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Fleischmann. I'm not a huge fan of modern Fleischmann Canadian whiskey. They do bottle some other things like vodka and other like cheap well spirits that come in plastic bottles. So, I'm not a huge fan of Fleischmann, first off. However, this is a bourbon that was bottled by Fleischmann before the owners have, changed, before they were bought out. So this is this bottle must be at least 30 fucking years old. Okay. I can't tell you where I got this from either, because um, the guy who hooked me up with this, even told me to my face, hey, I am not supposed to sell this to you, but I will give this to you for $15. Take my fucking money. Okay, so we're going to taste test this. See, there's a tape made this. Just going to pour ourselves just a tiny bit in this little plastic tumbler here. Now, what you do with any bourbon, any whiskey, or any like spirit whatsoever that you're taste testing, in order to give it a really fair shot, you don't just swallow it right away like you're taking a shot. You nose it like this. I smell lots of sugar, sweetness, and caramel, butterscotch, banana already. Not much banana, it's actually butterscotch and caramel. And when you're ready, you hold it in your mouth and you swish it around for a few seconds. Like this. Mmm. Mmm. Yeah, that feels like 80 proof. 40% alright. I'll be okay. Yeah, that's really good. The alcohol is a huge part of the flavor, because not only is your tongue getting blitzkrieged with caramel, butterscotch, salt, and sugar, but it's like someone taking a 10-pound sledgehammer and just bam, just whacking fucking hammer down the nails on each and every single taste bud. My taste buds are on fucking fire. That's why alcohol burns. It actually activates the same receptors in your mouth that hot spicy food does. So if you eat like a bell pepper, or you eat like a jalapeno, a jalapeno is a better example. If you eat a jalapeno or a banana pepper, you activate the same alcohol, activates those same receptors that spicy food and spices and pepper does. So there really isn't much you can do on the burn. All alcohol over a certain percentage, over, it's different for people because people have different sensitivities. But, I'd say for like me, anything over like 20% ABV, it starts to burn. Like mouthwash, burns your mouth because it's got alcohol in it. Anyway, this is a keeper for sure, and this is a saver. Take your time with for sure. And one more time, I'm going to let you take a look at it. Good old Duster, or Dusty. Now, if you ever want to find a bottle like this yourself, here's what you do. You go out in the country, out in the boonies, or you can even go to like small ass cities, and you try to find a shady liquor store, that isn't too big, that's kind of in the back alley, or it's secluded in the middle of a forest, on a road in the middle of nowhere. And what you do you immediately start going to the back of the store and you look for dust anywhere, okay? And when you're in an aisle, you brush all the bottles in the front away and you look to the back of that shelf up against the wall and you look for dust. Okay, dust is an indicator. It's not always a good sign because it could be a modern product, that hasn't been dusted off. But if you found dust, then what you do is you look for the tax stamp. You look for this red tape or green tape. Okay, if you find red or green tape on this, then you know you found a rare gem that they don't make anymore. Thirdly, bring it up to the counter, prepare to be mocked. The clerk is going to probably be like, what? You actually want to drink that shit? That's over 30, 40 fucking years old. And then you swallow your pride and you say, hell yes, I like to collect old bottles. I like the way they taste. I think they're good. Then he brown bags them and you get the hell out of there. Another thing I forgot to mention about these types of bottles here is that wine and beer go bad very quickly, especially if you open them. If you take the top off, you take a drink from it and you put the cap back on or the cork back in, it's like wine. You have like a week or so or like several days to drink it, or like it'll oxidize, it'll react with the air and it'll like lose all its flavor and go all bad. Fortified wines, cordials, liquors, things like vermouth last a little bit longer. You actually have like a couple of weeks to drink them up before they start to lose some of their flavor there. Liquor holds up a lot better. Like hard spirits, they'll last for like years. So like I've taken probably like 2.5 drinks out of this already. If I were to put this on my shelf and forget about it for the next 10 years, and I were to take this plastic cap back off on 2028 or something like that, it would probably taste even better. And the thing about these dusters is just because they've been aged 4 years in a barrel, 30 years ago they put in the bottle, they'll still settle and they'll age for the very small amount of nitrogen or whatever inert gas that they put as their seal in there. So like this hasn't sold 20 years, so it has 20 years to settle down in this bottle and to get all the complexity and all the flavors out, so it'll taste really, really fucking good when you finally crack it. Now, why I said before that the guy who basically sold this to me, told me he wasn't supposed to, is basically in New York, has these pretty like lame ass laws, like you're not supposed to technically, as like a licensed dealer of liquor, you're not supposed to sell people spirits made before 1980 or 1990. I don't know what the fucking retard ass law is, but I think it has something to do with like OSHA health violations. Like this has a fucking barcode on it. Like this has a barcode, it has a government warning on it, it meets all the New York State's stupid government regulations and health lines. This has none of those. It has no barcode to be found. It has a number on the red tape, but that's not a barcode. It doesn't have a government warning. It's not made anymore. So, I mean, technically, yeah, if like you are hunting for this in some liquor store, I mean, technically, yeah, they can sell it to you, but the government in my state don't like that. They don't like these that don't have the warnings and the stupid barcodes and like the government RFID stickers and shove it up your ass. Alcohol is bad for you, warnings on it. It's just stupid, code and color of law, basically. That's all it is. No laws really being broken there. You know, like no one's getting murdered or hurt in the process of, you know, bottling this and bringing it to me. You know, it's just color of law. You know, it's like traffic violation. You know, or possession of pot or any other like stupid, you know, fake ass color of law in this completely maritime law controlled system. Anyway, I'm going to take another taster for you without chasing it. Okay? Oh, and if you want to know what that was, I actually chased it with Tribuno Sweet Vermouth. I love this shit. You don't got to pay $12 or $15 to get Martini Red Vermouth, okay? Tribuno is just as sweet, just as good, if not even better. And they make wicked Manhattans with it, too. Man, look, smell that. I smell a dick ton of sugar. A fucking dick ton of fucking sugar. Caramel, butterscotch. Man, smell that fucking hooch, man. It's fucking smelly. That's some smelly good shit. Yee fucking haw. Man, I feel like a hellbilly. Swigging that. Oh yeah, and don't mind the commotion upstairs. It's just Peg playing with our new dog. We got a red lab. Puppy too. Named him after Pete's favorite singer, Merle Haggard. So we call him Merle Labgird. Because he's a lab.